If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 131, The Mission to Save Peach Hermit. A scene appeared before Soma. An elderly man, *LLED in Senjutsu, unfortunately took on an unworthy disciple. Peach Man. Peach Man had an evil heart, was lazy, and extremely greedy, always looking to gain without effort. One day, he accidentally obtained a fragment of the Shiken jewel. He casually inserted it into a human-faced fruit tree. This granted the human-faced fruit tree intelligence. Under the manipulation of the human-faced fruit tree, Peach Man fed Peach Hermit's flesh and blood to the tree, imprisoning Peach Hermit's soul in a bonsai. Later, he captured more humans to feed the human-faced fruit tree. After consuming enough fruits from the human-faced tree, Peach Man also transformed into a monstrous being. I need you to take the bonsai I am parasitically attached to, leave that mountain, and go to a safe place. Okay. With Soma's agreement, Peach Hermit's figure disappeared. Soma looked towards the mountain top. Peach Man is very powerful and has many powerful tools. However, he is not a smart person. I don't need to confront Peach Man head-on. Instead, I can use a strategy. Soma clapped his hands together, forming seals. Water Clone Jutsu. A total of 4 clones appeared before Soma. Soma slightly changed his attire, making the 4 clones and himself look like 5 completely different people, indistinguishable at first glance. I will use the water clones to gather intelligence and divert Peach Man's attention. Meanwhile, my true body will infiltrate the location where Peach Hermit is. With Soma's command, the 4 clones quickly began to act. Reaching the mountain top. At this moment, Peach Man was standing in front of the human-faced fruit tree, slightly raising his toes to pluck a human-faced fruit from the tree, wiping it slightly on his clothes. Then he put it in his mouth. 1 bite, 2 bites, he swallowed it all. Peach Man rubbed his huge belly, showing a dissatisfied expression. Not enough, not enough. Peach Man walked into the yard, heading towards a corner. Soma's water clone saw Peach Man reach inside and pull out a person. This person was very small, not even the size of Peach Man's finger. However, once Peach Man took them out, they immediately started growing at a visible rate, becoming the size of a normal human but with a dazed expression. Peach Man brought the person to the human-faced fruit tree. Quickly, several branches extended from the tree, entangling the person, piercing them, and absorbing their flesh and blood. The person shriveled rapidly until they completely disappeared. As the person vanished, a new fruit appeared on the human-faced fruit tree. Peach Man glanced at it and sat down on a nearby recliner. His obese figure swayed. Meanwhile, one of Soma's water clones had already found Peach Hermit's location. Water Release, Water Dragon Bullet Jutsu. One of Soma's water clones approached Peach Man and immediately formed seals to attack. A gigantic water dragon appeared in an instant and surged toward Peach Man. Hoo! Peach Man clenched his fist and punched the water dragon. Soon, Peach Man spotted Soma's water clone. He quickly charged toward it. The water clone turned and ran, with Peach Man in pursuit. Water Release, Water Mist Jutsu. A dense water mist appeared, obstructing Peach Man's vision and slowing him down. Meanwhile, Soma, having received a notification from the water clone, was already making his way towards Peach Hermit's location. Hearing the commotion, Peach Hermit opened his eyes. Soma approached. Who are you? Peach Hermit-sama, I am here to rescue you, Soma fabricated a story. I heard about you, Peach Hermit, and originally came here to learn Senjutsu. But upon arriving, I discovered this place was occupied by that evil monster. Now that the monster has left, I found an opportunity to sneak in here. You must be Peach Hermit-sama. Your appearance is exactly like the portrait I saw. Is this a peach blossom? So this is why you are called Peach Hermit. Peach Hermit showed an awkward expression upon hearing this but didn't explain. Peach Hermit, what should I do now? Peach Hermit quickly thought it over. Where is that monster now? Peach Hermit knew Soma was referring to Peach Man, but since Soma called him a monster, Peach Hermit also used the term monster for Peach Man. Peach Hermit had no feelings left for this disciple. He left the mountain top, seemingly chasing someone. Good, take this chance to get me out of here, as far away as possible. Okay. Soma quickly picked up the bonsai. By the way, did you see if the monster had a cane or a gourd with him? Peach Hermit asked. He had a gourd at his waist and a wooden staff in his hand. Peach Hermit immediately showed a disappointed expression. Let's go quickly, or it'll be too late. Yes. Soma took Peach Hermit and ran down the mountain at great speed. At that moment, Peach Man seemed to sense something. He raised the wooden staff and infused it with his demonic power. Numerous flowers appeared and attacked Soma's water clone. The water clone resisted for a while but couldn't hold out for long and was defeated. However, Peach Man did not pursue further. Instead, he turned back and ran up the mountain. Another of Soma's water clones saw this and quickly moved near the human-faced fruit tree. He formed seals. Fire release, Crimson Earth Spider. A red flame spider surged towards the human-faced fruit tree. Even though the human-faced fruit tree is extraordinary, wood is naturally countered by fire, especially fire release ninjutsu. Sharp wails sounded out. Peach Man, who was heading to the backyard, had to return. To Peach Man, nothing was more important than the human-faced fruit tree. Soma's water clone hid to the side. Peach Man desperately tried to extinguish the fire. However, just as Peach Man had almost put out the fire, Soma's water clone reappeared. Fire release, Crimson Earth Spider. Thus, Peach Man was held up for a significant amount of time. By then, Soma's true body had already taken Peach Hermit far away. After reaching a sufficient distance, a voice sounded in Soma's mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Would you like to leave the dungeon instance? Soma did not leave immediately. Instead, he stopped and set down Peach Hermit. Peach Hermit-sama, please teach me senjutsu. According to the blueprint rules, with an ordinary blueprint, Soma cannot take anything other than the task materials. Even if he learns senjutsu, Soma likely won't be able to bring back the senjutsu power. However, Soma has two ideas. First, the senjutsu here might have some similarities with the senjutsu in the Naruto ninja world. Second, once the Peach Hermit garden box is made, it will contain senjutsu power. While he can't take the senjutsu power back, he can absorb some of the garden box's senjutsu power. This would allow him to control the garden box better. Of course, if the first scenario happens, it would be the best outcome for Soma. Therefore, Soma requested to learn senjutsu from Peach Hermit. Peach Hermit hesitated for a moment. I can teach you, but I can't guarantee that you will learn it. No problem, Peach Hermit-sama. If I don't learn it, it will be my own fault. Chapter 132, The Disappearance of Third Mizukage, handled by us at Konoha. The disappearance of Third Mizukage is a good thing for our Hojiki clan. This guy keeps promoting the concepts of Zanpakuto and Shinigami Squad, all to suppress our Hojiki clan. I wonder how many resources he secretly sent to Soma. That's why Soma is able to create those ninjato. Now that Third Mizukage has disappeared and Soma lacks resources, he certainly won't be able to produce as many ninjato. He won't be able to continue targeting us. We can proceed according to our own plans. Upon hearing this discussion, a member of the Hojiki clan hesitated for a moment. But will Third Mizukage's death cause turmoil in the village? Will Konoha and Hidden Sand Village seize this opportunity to launch a strong attack on our Hidden Mist Village? Don't worry, Yagura has returned. With Yagura's abilities, he is capable enough to succeed the position of Mizukage. Indeed, with Yagura taking over as Mizukage, the situation in Hidden Mist Village can stabilize. Moreover, the relationship between the Karitachi clan and our Hojiki clan is fairly good. Yagura taking on the role of Mizukage is a better thing for us Hojiki clan than Third Mizukage. A young man spoke loudly, we need to tell Yagura the true identity of that blacksmith. Selfish and narrow-minded, making ninjato without considering the village's situation but deliberately targeting our Hojiki clan, not considering the village at all. Yes, we must expose his true identity. Such a person doesn't deserve to receive so many resources. We are the future of the village. The multitude of discussions made Hojiki Kazuhiko feel a headache. Stop. Everyone quieted down and looked at Hojiki Kazuhiko. Clan head. Hojiki Kazuhiko looked around and said, the disappearance of Third Mizukage is a fact. There's no need for us to discuss it further. Third Mizukage hasn't been favorable to our Hojiki clan. However, discussing him in his absence will only bring us a bad reputation. It's fine to discuss privately, but don't say it in front of outsiders. Yagura's succession to the Mizukage position has already been confirmed. In that case, we can proceed better with our original plans. We can inform Hojiki Izumo to return. No need to waste time. Next, our Hojiki clan will fully engage in special training. As the leader changes, so do the followers. With third Mizukage missing, Yagura is about to take over. Some feel sorrowful, while others are excited beyond measure. Both third Mizukage and Yagura have their own factions. In addition to the Hojiki clan, the Hoshigaki clan is also pleased with Yagura's upcoming appointment. This is because the marriage between Hoshigaki Kisame and the daughter of the Karitachi clan has already been confirmed. Depart. Soma silently recited a sentence in his heart, then left the dungeon instance and returned to Forging Island. The moment he arrived, Soma closed his eyes and silently sensed the energy within his body. Sure enough, it's gone. Soma revealed a somewhat disappointed expression. In Peach Hermit's dungeon instance, Soma learned Peach Hermit's senjutsu and gained divine power. However, after returning to Forging Island, he found that the divine power within his body had disappeared. But this is normal. If it were so easy, I could bring the power systems of other worlds into this world. Then, there would be no need for so much forging. Just stay in a suitable instance and don't leave. This system shouldn't be called the Blacksmith System, but rather the Dimensional Connection System. But Soma wasn't completely disappointed either. Because after learning Peach Hermit's senjutsu, Soma discovered that the energy absorbed by Peach Hermit's senjutsu was quite similar to the natural energy he felt deepest within Forging Island. In other words, using Peach Hermit's senjutsu method might also be applicable to harnessing natural energy. Now, let's give it a try. Soma gathered the materials from Peach Hermit garden box and proceeded to the deepest part of Forging Island. A wave of heat rushed over him. Soma stopped on the platform, closed his eyes, and focused intently. Indeed, it's quite similar. There are subtle differences. But, just like water release chakra and fire release chakra. Different attributes, but both are chakra. Peach Hermit's senjutsu also absorbs natural energy. Soma attempted to use the senjutsu he learned from Peach Hermit to absorb the surrounding natural energy, but instead of directly absorbing into his body, he controlled it on the surface. A sensation of burning heat arose. Soma felt his skin searing. Hiss. It seems I can't absorb it directly using Peach Hermit's senjutsu method. I must make certain modifications. If it were Soma from a year ago, he would have considered this extremely dangerous and impossible to accomplish. But now, Soma has already attempted similar tasks many times. With just the name chakra smelting technique, he can rely on his own forging technique, the enhancements obtained from God's hand by binding with Forging Island, and he explores mastering it. There's also the breathing forging method. Soma developed it based on his imitation of the breathing technique from Demon Slayer techniques and observations of water states in the natural world, with only the name breathing forging method to go on. Senjutsu poses much greater risks. The difficulty may also be greater. However, Soma has more conditions in his favor. The natural energy here is quite rich. Now that I've learned Peach Hermit's senjutsu, I can use it as a reference. By slowly experimenting, there's definitely a possibility of learning it. Furthermore, I am currently unable to absorb these natural energies, but it might be possible to apply them to the earth core polishing technique. If successful, I can compensate for the deficiencies in my forging technique. To elevate my forging technique to an excellent level, Soma returned to his forging room. However, before researching and developing the earth core polishing technique, I need to first create the Peach Hermit garden box. It's late today, I'll rest for the night and study it tomorrow. But just as Soma returned to his room to rest, a figure hurriedly approached. Soma. Ao senpai. Elder Genji is here. Elder Genji? All right. Soma closed the door and went out. This time, Genji came alone. After multiple interactions, Genji had no reservations about Forging Island anymore. Moreover, the news that the soul of Third Mizukage is still alive cannot be known by anyone other than Third Mizukage, Genji, and Soma. It must be kept absolutely confidential. Therefore, when coming to Forging Island, Genji also wanted as few people as possible to know about it. Soma and Genji arrived in front of the Skeleton Emperor. Ao was guarding outside. The shadow of Third Mizukage appeared. Mizukage-sama. Genji, is there something important? Mizukage-sama, tomorrow, Yagura will officially succeed to the position of Mizukage. Has he grasped everything he needs to? Does he understand everything he should? Mostly. Third Mizukage nodded. It seems that Yagura indeed has the ability to succeed as Mizukage. When Yagura assumes the position of Mizukage, announce the news of my disappearance. With a Mizukage in place, Hidden Mist Village will remain stable. Our only concern should be the actions Konoha might take against us. We don't know when Konoha will strike against Hidden Mist Village again. Soma, have Ao keep a close watch on Mizukage's building and Yagura's situation at all times. We must be in control of the situation at the first sign of action from Konoha and respond accordingly. Soma nodded. Mizukage-sama, rest assured, I have already spoken to Ao-senpai about this. Konoha must have a big conspiracy, said third Mizukage with a serious expression. Unfortunately, we don't have much intelligence or evidence. Otherwise, we could unite with other ninja villages. Whatever we say now, other ninja villages won't believe us. Had I not seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe Konoha could hide so deeply. Third Mizukage mistakenly believed that Uchiha Obito and his group were conspiring with Konoha, which made him extremely wary of Konoha. However, Third Mizukage was unaware that Uchiha Obito also harbored deep fear of him. The next day, a grand ceremony for the succession of the Mizukage was held in the central square. Yagura stood at a high place. Soma also arrived. As one of the elders of the Hidden Mist Village, Soma naturally had to be present. Ao, Genji, Kagayamazui, Hojiki Kazuhiko. Except for the ninjas who couldn't return from the battlefield. From today onwards, I am the fourth Mizukage. Yagura announced. Yagura was dressed in a green outfit with a blue Mizukage hat on his head. His face looked young but determined. Soma glanced around. Most of the Hidden Mist Village residents were bewildered by Yagura's sudden succession as Mizukage. It was too abrupt, with no prior brewing process. How did Yagura suddenly become the new Mizukage? What about the previous third Mizukage? However, there wasn't much opposition to Yagura's succession as Mizukage. His qualifications, strength, and accomplishments were already sufficient. Under normal circumstances, the third Mizukage would have retired in a few more years, and Yagura would naturally succeed as the fourth Mizukage. Ao-senpai, have you noticed anything unusual? Soma looked over at Ao. Ao shook his head. No abnormalities. After the Mizukage succession ceremony concluded, Yagura officially assumed the position of Mizukage. He took over all responsibilities previously held by third Mizukage, ensuring that the operation of the Hidden Mist Village was unaffected. It wasn't until this moment that the people of Hidden Mist Village learned about third Mizukage's disappearance. Third Mizukage disappeared. How did it happen? Is it similar to what happened to third Kazekage? Which ninja village did it? Konoha? Hidden Cloud Village? Or Hidden Rock Village? A disappearance in the ninja world typically implied death, as it was unlikely for someone to vanish without a trace. However, without finding a body or identifying the perpetrator, they referred to it as a disappearance. In the realm of ninjas, a missing ninja was almost always presumed dead. However, who could have done it? King a Mizukage within the confines of the Hidden Mist Village was unimaginable. If we must mention it, only a few ninja villages of the same level as the great ninja villages can achieve this. We are currently only at war with Konoha and Hidden Sand Village. Most likely, it was done by Konoha. Hidden Sand Village doesn't have the strength for this. Upon hearing such remarks, Hidden Sand Village was initially a bit pleased because the Hidden Mist Village people did not suspect them. But after hearing the latter part of the sentence, they became furious and started cursing at Hidden Mist Village. This was completely looking down on them. We Hidden Sand Village don't have this strength. You're underestimating us Hidden Sand Village too much. Our puppet masters can assassinate anyone easily. Raza frowned. First, it was our Hidden Sand Village's third Kazekage, and now it's Hidden Mist Village's third Mizukage. Both disappeared suddenly without a trace. Perhaps it is possible that the culprit is the same person. What is their goal? Raza cast a suspicious glance towards the Land of Fire. Raza was unclear about Konoha's purpose in targeting Hidden Sand Village. However, right now, it seems most likely that Konoha is targeting Hidden Mist Village. With the emergence of Zanpakuto and the Shinigami squad, Hidden Mist Village's advantage over Konoha has gradually been established, with several consecutive victories clearly demonstrating this situation. In this context, for Konoha to solve the problem by assassinating the third Mizukage is indeed a good choice. So, was the third Kazekage also assassinated by Konoha? Not just Hidden Mist Village and Hidden Sand Village, even Konoha's people thought Konoha had assassinated the third Mizukage. Danzo's eyes flickered. No wonder the hidden mist ninja retreated and pulled back the front line recently. It turns out Yagura left to return to Hidden Mist Village to succeed as Mizukage. The third Mizukage disappeared, most likely dead. Could it be Orochimaru's doing? Danzo thought of a possibility. After all, Orochimaru had suffered a major defeat when facing Fugyuki and others before. Even Manda had lost a segment of its tail. This was a great humiliation for Orochimaru. It was highly likely that Orochimaru would seek revenge. Additionally, this would indeed benefit Konoha. Not only did Danzo speculate this, but Hiruzen also suspected Orochimaru. Just as Orochimaru had recently mentioned leaving the village to find Kagaya Nico, news of third Mizukage's disappearance reached Konoha. The movements of Konoha's top ninjas Minato and Jiraiya were clear on the battlefield. Hiruzen was in Konoha himself, while Tsunade lingered in the gambling dens. Orochimaru was the only one whose whereabouts were uncertain. If Orochimaru hadn't returned yet, Hiruzen would have to make a statement: third Mizukage's disappearance was Konoha's responsibility. If Orochimaru was indeed behind third Mizukage's disappearance, it would greatly boost Konoha's prestige. Chapter 133, Peach Hermit Garden Box, completed. Upon hearing the news from Hidden Mist Village, Obito's eyes flickered. Hidden Mist Village announced third Mizukage's disappearance. The signs point to Konoha. Hidden Mist Village is unaware of third Mizukage's death? They don't know the number or appearance of the assailants. In that case, can it be proven that third Mizukage truly died after using that attack? That would make sense. If third Mizukage could continue to use such power without any consequences after death, it would be even stronger than Madara-sama. Obito felt a slight relief, reducing his wariness towards Hidden Mist Village. However, I still need to proceed with caution. First, gather intelligence. I'm not sure if other Zanpakuto have such special abilities. In front of Nagato and Konan, Obito pretended not to care about the Skeleton Emperor's abilities, but in reality, he still feared them. Immediately, Obito's gaze shifted towards the direction of the Land of Fire. Before taking action against Hidden Mist Village, perhaps I should make a trip to Konoha. Kakashi. I want one of my eyes to exist in Konoha, in a bright way, as proof that I once existed. And you happen to need an eye. But now, I lack the power of the Sharingan. It's time to take my eye back. Rain Ninja Village. Nagato is in the process of repairing Pain's body. The missing arm has completely decayed into ashes. Therefore, Nagato took an arm from another body, prepared to modify and install it onto Pain's body. Konan watched silently. After a long while, it's repaired. Nagato surveyed Pain in front of him. Nagato. Konan, what is it? Nagato, if Yahiko gets injured again in the future and we replace more parts of his body with others' parts, will he still be Yahiko? Nagato paused. He remained silent for a moment. Then he looked up. I won't let that happen again. Yahiko will surely witness our success with us, witness the changes we bring to the shinobi world, and see the shinobi world we imagine without war, peaceful and stable. I swear. Soma entered the forging room, and with a single thought, the blueprint for the garden box appeared. Soma examined the blueprint and then glanced at the materials nearby. The production of the garden box requires extremely high precision. It's not like crafting under the influence of God's hand or water dragon possession. It's even more challenging. One reason is that the garden box is much larger in size. Another difficulty lies in handling the materials of the garden box. On the blueprint, the production of the garden box is roughly divided into 3 steps. The first step is molding. The main materials of the garden box are a special type of clay. After adding a certain amount of water, the clay is kneaded and shaped, similar to making pottery. Allowing some water to evaporate naturally with the wind, it is then fixed. Next, a controlled flame is used to bake the clay within a fixed range, thoroughly setting it. This includes the edges and foundation of the garden box. Once fixed, it becomes extremely sturdy, much like cement in building materials. It is impervious to water and fire, within certain limits, of course. After the foundation is stable, the second step involves placing internal materials. Wooden structures for building houses. Seeds of plants that can grow inside. Water sources. These are all special components. Each holds unique power. The third step involves planting senjutsu seeds. Soma looked at a cluster of white petals. These are senjutsu seeds imbued with the senjutsu power of Peach Hermit. When used, the petals are crushed, releasing the senjutsu power contained within. Through them, the power of senjutsu will automatically integrate with the garden box. Let's begin. Soma prioritized the construction of the garden box with the earth core polishing technique. Water release. Using water release, he created a mass of water and slowly added it to the clay, mixing it in. Stirring it bit by bit, the nature of the clay gradually began to change. Soma deliberately chose an empty forging room for this. For the garden box, he also deliberately crafted a container. A metallic container made of refined iron. 2 meters long and 2 meters wide. Soma filled the metal container with the mixed clay. First, he laid down a layer for the base. Then he began building the walls. By this point, the basic framework was mostly complete. But this was just the beginning. He still needed to construct terrain, rivers, lakes, mountains, houses, and more. The workload was immense. Soma calculated it all. If everything is operated according to the standards on the blueprint, it will take at least half a month to complete, and that's with me putting in full effort. If it were another blacksmith, it would take even longer. In just 2 days, Soma completed the basic part. At this point, the garden box already looked somewhat like a sandbox. There were undulating terrains, connecting mountains and plains. Even though it wasn't finished yet, Soma looked at the garden box in front of him and could faintly sense something. It feels somewhat similar to the special patterns in Piaja. But in this garden box, I haven't done anything similar. I've only constructed the terrain so far. Suddenly, Soma thought of a term. Feng Shui. Could it be that just the terrain alone can create special energy? In his previous life, Soma didn't believe in Feng Shui. But upon seeing the situation with the garden box, Soma suddenly realized that different mountain ranges and river courses could indeed bring about different feelings and changes. The charms aren't as magical as the shamans claim. But there is some truth to it. Energy flows. Different flows lead to different effects. The terrain can influence the flow of natural energy. Soma's expectations for the garden box suddenly increased. He poured in water. At the top of the mountain, a stone cracked open, water flowed down, gathered into a lake halfway down the mountain. Further down, the lake turned into a stream. By the flat area, it became a slowly flowing river. All the way to the edge of the garden box, where it suddenly disappeared. But in Soma's view, these water flows actually penetrated into the ground. And with the action of the underground, they returned to the mountains. So it circulates. Land and water flows are established. Next is to sow the seeds of plants. Soma took out a small bottle filled with densely packed black dots. He opened the lid and shook it gently. Afterwards, he poured it towards the garden box. The moment the seeds fell to the ground, a strange force immediately appeared, taking the seeds into the soil, where they began to take root and sprout at a rapid pace. It was like time had sped up. It continued until the saplings grew into large trees, and the grass and bushes all matured, then it stopped. At this point, the garden box looked like a miniature landscape, small but complete in its own ecosystem. It feels like a small bridge over flowing water. If the food and water inside are not poisonous, living in it should be very nice. Next, we need to build the houses inside. This required more delicate work. Small wooden houses, even a slight deviation, would make the houses crooked. From afar, everything looked fine, but inside the garden box, they looked like hazardous houses. At the same time, it would affect the capabilities of the garden box. After several more days, Soma finally completed the production of these small items. Scattering the senjutsu seeds will mark the true completion of the garden box. Dozens of houses. 2 bridges. And some flatboats by the river bank. It could be said that the garden box now resembled a complete village at the foot of a mountain. A place settled by dozens of families, living off the mountain and the water, self-sufficient without any need to interact with the outside world. It was like a land of peach blossom spring. Some trees bore fruits. Fish and shrimp swam in the small river. A perfect place for seclusion. But in reality, it's only beautiful on the outside. Everything inside is highly toxic. Similar to the poisoned apple that Snow White ate. It looks delicious, but eating it will k***llu. Soma took out the white petals. Now, the garden box seems to be starting to gather natural energy. Not much, but I can feel it, and it's different from the depths of Forging Island. Much quieter. The depths of Forging Island are more chaotic. Like the difference between water and fire. A mass of chakra coalesced in Soma's hand, which he then crushed against the white petals. The white petals shattered uniformly, as if they had preemptively broken themselves into even powder. As the powder scattered, an unusual aura suddenly burst forth. Soma witnessed the entire garden box undergo a transformation. Its boundaries became ethereal, more natural energy gathered and absorbed here, forcefully injected into the garden box. Subsequently, the walls, ground, waterways, trees, bushes, and houses of the garden box all underwent changes. It feels more real. The previous garden box gave the impression of a model. But now, the garden box gives the impression of a real world. At this moment, a voice echoed in Soma's mind. Chapter 134, Soma's Sage's Polishing Technique. Congratulations to the host for completing the forging. Peach Hermit Garden Box successfully forged. Completion rate, good. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Sage's Plant Cultivation Technique Experience X 1000. Sage's Plant Cultivation Technique. Soma furrowed his brow. So far, most of Soma's forging had earned him Kenjutsu rewards, except for that time with Dr. Stylish. That time, he gained experience in body modification technique. And the time he crafted the perfect ninja tool, he gained the ability of underwater breathing directly. Now, he's gaining experience outside of Kenjutsu again. Sage's plant cultivation technique refers to the ability to grow trees. Not ordinary trees, but those related to Senjutsu, certainly related to Peach Hermit's Senjutsu. Like the human face fruit tree. Soma remembered Peach Hermit had several remarkable items. A wooden staff. A gourd. Garden box. And the human face fruit tree. These four were all extraordinary. Except for garden box, the other three were typical plants or parts of plants. The human face fruit tree is a complete tree. The wooden staff is made from tree branches. The gourd grows from gourd vines. Could it be that all these things were grown by Peach Hermit? And with me obtaining the Sage's plant cultivation technique, I can also cultivate similar entities. But this should be very difficult. To cultivate such extraordinary plants, besides SK*LL, the seeds definitely can't be ordinary. Perhaps it requires generations of cultivation. Or handling the seeds in a special environment. Peach Hermit claims to be a sage and practices Senjutsu, likely living for who knows how long. But he has only those few things proving that cultivating a qualified celestial plant will be extremely difficult. And for me, getting 1000 points of experience is just about at the novice level. If I really want to do it, I probably can only improve the taste of the fruits a bit. Unless I can obtain special seeds. Suddenly, Soma thought of something. In this world, the most special plant is none other than the divine tree. If I could obtain seeds of the divine tree, or perhaps branches, would there be a way to cultivate them? Using those as materials for forging tools, I should be able to create excellent ninja tools. Soma looked at the garden box in front of him. He reached out and touched it. Immediately, a rush of information flowed in. Peach Hermit Garden Box. Type, Bonsai. Quality, good. Abilities, Microcosm, this miniature landscape forms its own world, with internal circulation, and can function normally regardless of external conditions. Abilities, Containment, people or objects near the miniature landscape will be affected by its containment force, shrinking in size and subjected to restrictive forces. Abilities, Poisonous Delusion, the water and food within the miniature landscape contain a potent and deadly poison, colorless and tasteless. Note, according to Blacksmith's third rule, the power of this ninja tool cannot harm its creator. 3 abilities. However, the production of this garden box consumes much more time and energy compared to other ninja tools. It can be used anywhere. Even in places like the interior of this volcano, right next to where magma is rolling. The containment ability affects anyone or anything nearby. It doesn't affect me because I am the forger. The containment ability conflicts with the blacksmith rules. But as long as I'm willing, I can be contained, though I can also leave at any time, unlike other people or objects. If others or objects are contained in the garden box, it would be difficult for them to leave. In that case, the poisonous delusion should also have no effect on me. Immediately after, a voice sounded. Monitoring the binding area that meets the conditions, Forging Island. Do you want to proceed with binding? When Soma received the blueprint, he knew that the garden box was different from his previous ninja tools. Previous ninja tools were bound to individuals, but the garden box is bound to a specific place. Yes. In the next moment, Soma saw the garden box slowly sinking into the ground. The highest point of the walls was just level with the ground, and the surrounding terrain began to change. Clearly, the scene inside the garden box and the interior of this volcano's cave had completely different styles. However, somehow, the two merged in a subtle form that didn't appear abrupt at first glance. Peach Hermit Garden Box Binding successful. The abilities of the garden box have been somewhat enhanced. The next moment, Soma saw that the scene inside the garden box seemed to have expanded somewhat. No, it hadn't expanded. Instead, the things inside had shrunk again, and something new that Soma hadn't created appeared, an entity resembling a volcano in a corner. At the same time, Soma noticed that the natural energy around him suddenly became more concentrated. It's like something is attracting these natural energies. In just a short while, it has become almost as deep as the innermost part of Forging Island's volcano. That's not bad. I can research the earth core polishing technique here without having to endure the heat of the volcano's depths. But there's no need to call it the earth core polishing technique anymore. That great blacksmith named it because he thought that place was deep, hence calling it the earth core. But in reality, it uses natural energy. If we refer to senjutsu in this world, let's call it the sage's polishing technique. Soma tried to attract the surrounding natural energy. Unlike the natural energy in the Inuyasha world, it was gentler than the natural energy in the depths of the volcano. I'll go inside the garden box and take a rest. Once I've regained my energy and spirit, I'll begin researching the sage's polishing technique and quickly elevate my own forging technique to the excellent level. Soma approached the garden box without resisting its containment force. In the next moment, he saw his own figure shrinking visibly to the naked eye, entering into the garden box. When Soma's feet touched the ground, he had already resized to fit the internal world of the garden box. A large river flowed, with dozens of houses gathered nearby. Across the river were mountains, and lush green trees surrounded the area. It truly is miraculous. It's like an entirely different world. On the outside, the garden box is very small. But inside, it can accommodate hundreds of people comfortably. Soma looked around. If Uchiha Shisui had something similar, would he have contained the entire Uchiha clan? Living in such a place, there would be no conflicts with Konoha's elders. Soma left the garden box. Immediately, not far away, he set up a grinding workbench. He took a ninjato. A regular ninjato, the kind that hadn't been sharpened yet. Soma closed his eyes and carefully used Peach Hermit's senjutsu to draw in natural energy. Then, he controlled these natural energies and attached them to the ninjato. Let's begin polishing. As the polishing progressed, those natural energies seemed to rub against the ninjato. Soma could see the changes in the ninjato. Just incorporating natural energy already makes it different from ordinary polishing effects. But it's still not enough. Soma furrowed his brow. This thing gives me a sense of disorder. It's like rubbing randomly. Natural energy is involved in the polishing process, but it hasn't produced positive effects, and there's even a counterproductive aspect. Soma looked at the ninjato in his hand. After polishing, the ninjato was worse than before. I need a regular direction and rhythm. One day passed, Soma finished his research and walked out of the forging room. Name, Soma. Comprehensive Strength, Special Jonin. Swordsmanship, SK*LLED, 9300. Body Modification Technique, Familiar, 2000. Sage's Plant Cultivation Technique, Novice, 1000. Abilities, Underwater Breathing. Forging Technique, Very Good, Proficient enhanced by Forging Island, enhanced by God's Hand. Mission Items, Thug Recruitment Token X3. Blacksmith Reputation, 60. Evaluation, as a blacksmith, the foundation is quite good. Having one's own forging site and equipment, the forging technique is enhanced, with a chance to create superior grade ninja tools. As a ninja, possesses a certain level of strength, stronger than cannon fodder. Soma, Mizukage-sama is coming. Mizukage-sama. Soma instinctively turned to look in the direction of the empty forging room. Afterward, he realized that Ao was not referring to the third Mizukage, but rather the fourth Mizukage, Yagura. Mizukage-sama. Soma approached Yagura. Chief Uehara. Yagura looked at Soma and nodded. I've heard Chief Uehara's name before. Chief Uehara is indeed as young and promising as I imagined. By forging Zanpakuto and creating the Shinigami squad. Chief Uehara, you have made significant contributions to the strength of our Hidden Mist village. On behalf of everyone in the village, I express my gratitude to Chief Uehara. Soma waved his hand. Mizukichi-sama, you're too kind. As a member of the Hidden Mist village, it's what I should do. Chief Uehara, the disappearance of Lord Third is a huge loss for the village, something none of us wanted to see happen. But now that it has, we can only look forward. Yagura said, I will uphold the promises Lord Third made regarding Forging Island. If Chief Uehara has any needs, feel free to mention them. Soma smiled. Mizukichi-sama, rest assured. If there's anything I need, I won't hesitate. I also hope to forge more and better Zanpakuto to enhance the village's strength. Yagura's purpose in coming was evident. Soma had been close to the third Mizukage before. Now, with the change in Mizukage, Yagura hoped to gain Soma's support, considering him an important figure in the village. Soma had no objections to Yagura. Yagura was someone who, in the original storyline, was quite pitiful. In this world, there were similarly pitiful individuals. Therefore, Soma directly stated his own demands. This would reassure Yagura more. For those in positions of authority, it was easier to control those below when they had requests. Someone who asked for nothing would make people wary of his intentions. Upon hearing Soma's response, Yagura breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. Then I look forward to Chief Uehara bringing more Zanpakuto to the village. Watching Yagura leave, Soma entered where the Skeleton Emperor was located. Mizukichi-sama, the fourth Mizukage just visited. The apparition of the third Mizukage appeared. How does it seem? Very tired, but seemingly enjoying it. The fourth Mizukage seems to like the job of Mizukage. The third Mizukage asked again. How is the village? Relatively stable. Soma continued, there haven't been major changes in the village. On the battlefield of Hidden Sand, Jozo Senpai has restrained Pakura, preventing Pakura from causing further harm to our ninjas. Over at Konoha, because the fourth Mizukage has returned to the village, Konoha has gained a slight advantage. Third Mizukage nodded. That should suffice. There's no need to have Fukyuki and the others continue to retreat. Otherwise, it might arouse suspicion from Konoha. Yagura's orders should be along these lines as well, right? Yes. Have those four who attacked me shown up again? No. It seems my outburst before my death has made them somewhat wary. With that, third Mizukage's expression turned serious. Lord Mizukage, this is exactly the question I came here to ask. Soma said, given the current situation of Hidden Mist Village, should I continue to strive to forge Zanpakuto at the previous rate, or should I slow down? Third Mizukage pondered for a moment. Let's continue as before. People who want to target you will continue to target you even if you stop forging ninja tools. It's better to forge as many weapons as possible. This will enhance Hidden Mist Village's strength. Konoha has hidden so much power and has grand schemes, but without openly dominating the ninja world, it proves they lack that capability. The improvement of Hidden Mist Village's strength is beneficial for the village. Soma nodded. Understood, Mizukichi-sama. I understand. The apparition of third Mizukage didn't immediately disappear but watched Soma depart. There was one more thing third Mizukage didn't say just now. Soma, the more you can prove your worth, then, no matter how much Konoha hates Zanpakuto and the Shinigami squad, even if the Hidden Mist Village is completely defeated, Konoha will not k***llu. You are different from a simple ninja. Therefore, there is no need to worry about this. Chapter 135, Orochimaru, the power of Dragon Bone comparable to Might Do. Third Mizukage completely misjudged the situation with Obito, but what he said makes sense. I'll continue forging ninja tools as usual. Obito won't lower his guard against me if I stop. Neither will Konoha. On the contrary, the more Zanpakuto I forge, the more members in the Shinigami squad, the stronger my influence becomes. Moreover, with the Peach Hermit Garden box, my self-defense capability has actually been significantly enhanced. Soma returned to his room and made a plan. First, complete the development of Sage's polishing technique. Then, recruit blacksmith guards to gain a wave of reputation, enough to qualify for lottery. Once I achieve the excellent level in forging technique, possibly breaking through to beyond proficient with the bonuses from Forging Island and God's Hand, I'll be more effective in gaining reputation. This is the only way to gain reputation this time. After all, the Peach Hermit Garden box is unlikely to bring me reputation boosts. At least not in the short term. Soma didn't want anyone else to know about the abilities of the Peach Hermit Garden box. Unless there are intruders who can infiltrate Forging Island. After completing the Peach Hermit Garden box, Soma focused all his energy on researching Sage's polishing technique, leading a focused and straightforward life. Natural energy gathers here. It seems like it has irregular movement. But in reality, it's like a mass of liquid. It is influenced to a certain extent by gravity. Air currents also affect it. Even though I can't control this natural energy, but maybe I guide it. Except for water release ninjas, others cannot manipulate water directly. But they can guide water. For example, storing water in a container or making a water pipe and letting water flow through it. Peach Hermit's senjutsu cannot absorb the natural energy of this world, but guiding it poses no problem. Once Soma found the right approach, he immediately began to try it out. Guiding natural energy into a flowing water state. And I will polish the ninjato using this flowing natural energy state. Soma took out a ninjato and placed it on the polishing workbench. Let's begin. The sound of sharpening blades echoed. Soma picked up the ninjato and looked at it, his eyes shining. Indeed, just as I expected. This kind of polishing effect is much better than ordinary polishing. During the polishing process, natural energy not only makes the ninjato smoother and sharper, but also permeates into it. This proves that my approach is correct. If I continue like this, I'm sure I can successfully research the sage's polishing technique. While Soma was immersed in researching forging techniques. In the land of hot water. Orochimaru finally arrived at the possible location of Kagayaniko. A small town. The land of hot water does not have its own ninja village. There used to be one long ago, but it no longer exists. The main issue is that the daimyo of the land of hot water has decided against it. Considering their situation, major nations are generally not interested in them. Apart from hot springs, there are hardly any other resources worth attracting others. Most wars are caused by ninja villages. So why not just abolish the ninja villages? As a result, it turned out just as the daimyo of the land of hot water expected. After the ninja villages were gone, the land of hot water entered a period of peace. Like the land of iron, it became a neutral country. But unlike the land of iron, which relies on its own strength and the ninja tools industry, the land of hot water relies on being laid back. I have no ninja, so you can't strike my ninja. The land of hot water relied on this strategy to achieve peace. However, this doesn't mean there are no issues within the land of hot water. There are problems such as oppressive nobility, corrupt officials, and rampant cults. The reason Kagayaniko chose the land of hot water is twofold. Firstly, it is closer to the land of water, allowing quick support if something happens to the hidden mist village. Secondly, after awakening the Shikatsumayaku Kekii Genkai, Kagayaniko experienced pain when using this Kekii Genkai. Immersing in the hot springs of the land of hot water helps alleviate some of this pain. Kagayaniko's entire body was submerged in the warm water of the hot spring, with only his head exposed as he analyzed the recent intelligence he received. Third Mizukage is missing, suspected to be the work of Orochimaru from Konoha. Yagura succeeded as the fourth Mizukage. This news made Kagayaniko feel somewhat uneasy. Initially, Kagayaniko's heart was solely devoted to the village and absolutely loyal to Third Mizukage. Regardless of the orders given, Kagayaniko would unquestioningly execute them. But now, Kagayaniko's beliefs have changed. However, Kagayaniko still feels gratitude towards Third Mizukage after he followed the proposal that came from Soma. It suggested preserving some members of the Kagaya clan to prevent the complete extinction of the clan. However, this proposal needs Third Mizukage's approval. Moreover, with Yagura in power now, Kagayaniko, like Kagaya Mizuai, worried about Yagura's attitude towards the Kagaya clan. Konoha. Orochimaru. Kagayaniko blamed Orochimaru for all his troubling emotions. Just then, a figure entered. Kagayaniko. Upon seeing Kagayaniko and confirming his identity, Orochimaru couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. Even though Orochimaru is a highly experienced veteran ninja, being defeated by Yagura and others has caused Orochimaru to lose face throughout the ninja world. Moreover, Orochimaru is well aware that without achieving something significant enough to overturn this situation, the probability of succeeding as the next Hokage will be much lower than Minato Namikaze's. This is how things are in Konoha. A single failure can nullify all previous achievements. Kagaya Nico, a rogue ninja from the Hidden Mist Village. Regardless of whether Kagaya Nico has truly betrayed the Hidden Mist Village, there are hidden motives behind the extinction of the Kagaya clan. Kagaya Nico might just be the scapegoat on the surface. However, the dragon bone in Kagaya Nico's hands is genuine. It is a true Zanpakuto. Orochimaru doesn't expect Kagaya Nico to cooperate with him. But regardless, Orochimaru can simply K*LL Kagaya Nico and take the dragon bone for himself. After studying the Zanpakuto, he won't be so passive when facing it again in the future, but rather he might find an opportunity to find a way to deal with it. At the same time, Orochimaru could obtain information about the Hidden Mist Village's blacksmiths from Kagaya Nico. Orochimaru. When Kagaya Nico saw the person walking in, he was momentarily stunned. Then, his eyes narrowed slightly. In Kagaya Nico's heart, there was a moment of hesitation. Initially, Kagaya Nico wanted to take action immediately. The situation with the third Mizukage had filled Kagaya Nico with extreme hatred towards Konoha and Orochimaru. However, Kagaya Nico worried that attacking Orochimaru might make him suspicious about the truth behind the Kagaya clan's extermination. But soon, Kagaya Nico realized he was overthinking. After all, he was the ruthless criminal who exterminated his own ninja clan. Did he need a reason to act? Absolutely not. He was already a madman. Anything he did could be justified, right? With this thought, Kagaya Nico hesitated no longer. Dragon Bone. With a deep voice, Kagaya Nico leaped out of the hot spring and appeared before Orochimaru in an instant. Kagaya Nico lifted Dragon Bone high and swung it towards Orochimaru. Orochimaru's pupils contracted. What? He had just walked in, hadn't even started speaking, and the other party attacked directly? Kagaya Nico's actions caught Orochimaru off guard. Orochimaru thought, whether friend or foe, there should at least be a few words exchanged first. Wasn't that the customary rule in the ninja world? But Kagaya Nico didn't play by the rules. Snake Hand. A snake appeared and entangled Orochimaru's arm, resembling a protective sleeve. Kagaya Nico's dragon bone fell. Orochimaru's snake hissed but didn't die, instead, it climbed up dragon bone and lunged towards Kagaya Nico's arm. Splurt! Just as the snake was about to bite Kagaya Nico, a white bone protruded from Kagaya Nico's arm. In an instant, it pierced through the snake. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes. Is this your Zanpakuto's ability? No, that's not right. This should be your Kagaya clan's Shikatsumayaku Kekii Genkai, right? I heard that it's been a long time since anyone awakened this Kekii Genkai. Did you K*LL so many Kagaya clan members relying on this? And what about your Zanpakuto? Dragon Bone's performance didn't convince Orochimaru that it was a Zanpakuto. Its ordinary slashes didn't seem special to Orochimaru. So, is that speculation true? Was the annihilation of the Kagaya clan done by the Hidden Mist Village? Things like Dragon Bone, are they just distractions? Did Kagaya Nico not even bring out a Zanpakuto? Orochimaru couldn't help but speculate like this. The first strike of Dragon Bone left Orochimaru feeling underwhelmed. Compared to Kirikomanji, Blue Rose Sword, and Water Dragon Possession, it was far from impressive. However, Kagaya Nico's second strike followed immediately. This time, Orochimaru adopted the same approach to defend against it. However, the effect was completely different. Crack! A tremendous force descended. Not only were Orochimaru's snakes directly severed into two pieces, but also the bones in Orochimaru's arm. Orochimaru's face changed color. This power, it's so strong. Orochimaru kept retreating. However, close combat was Kagaya Nico's specialty. Already close, how could Kagaya Nico give Orochimaru a chance to pull away? When Orochimaru retreated, Kagaya Nico pursued. Under a series of attacks, Orochimaru immediately bore numerous wounds. At this moment, Orochimaru finally understood. What was in Kagaya Nico's hands? It was indeed Dragon Bone, a Zanpakuto. Intermittent explosive power. A power that doubles his strength completely. I can't stop it. Unless it's might duel with 8 inner gates opened, no one from Konoha can face him in Taijutsu. And it would have to be opened to the 6th gate, no, even the 6th gate might not be enough. Orochimaru's expression became extremely serious. With Orochimaru's judgment, naturally there would be no mistake. However, this doesn't mean that Kagaya Nico is truly stronger in Taijutsu than Might Do in his 6th gate state. Kagaya Nikko excels in taijutsu. But relying on Dragon Bone, the power unleashed in its strikes is exceptionally outstanding. This was what Orochimaru was comparing. In other aspects of taijutsu, Kagaya Nikko might be relatively weaker. However, in terms of overall strength, Kagaya Nikko also possesses the Shikatsumayaku Kekkei Genkai. Whether in defense or offense, he is extremely powerful. Meanwhile, Orochimaru, unable to summon Manda and with many of his snake-style ninjutsu techniques still haven't recovered, he was subtly restrained by Kagaya Nikko. Many hidden shadow snake hands. Several large snakes appeared on Orochimaru's arms. Some were for defense. Some were for attack. However, facing these snakes, Kagaya Nikko grinned. "Break for me." A/fell. Under the immense power, these snakes were instantly severed into two. However, this also bought Orochimaru a bit of time. Formation of 10,000 snakes. Even more venomous snakes than before emerged from Orochimaru's mouth in vast numbers densely packed. At a glance, they numbered in the thousands, all swarming towards Kagaya Nikko like a surging tide, threatening to overwhelm him. This time, Kagaya Nikko was restrained. The number of venomous snakes was overwhelming. Shikatsumayaku Hedgehog. A large number of white bones emerged from Kagaya Nikko's body. They were numerous though not long, resembling bamboo shoots, tightly protecting Kagaya Nikko's body like a suit of armor. The venomous snakes attacked, but could find no openings. Both parties' methods this time were somewhat similar. Aside from their normal abilities, they also used psychological attacks, and anyone suffering from intense fear would likely struggle against Orochimaru and Kagaya Nikko. "Kagaya Nikko, I didn't come here to be your enemy. Can we talk?" Kagaya Nikko didn't respond. Orochimaru took a deep breath. "If you truly are a rogue ninja of the Hidden Mist Village, Konoha can offer you a place to stay. If you are not a rogue ninja of the Hidden Mist Village, burdened with such heavy accusations, are you sure that the future Hidden Mist Village will clear your name? Even Third Mizukage has disappeared. If you are not a rogue ninja, how many people in the village knows your true identity? Have you ever thought about it? In the end, people should think about themselves." Orochimaru had made what he considered to be the most sincere attempt at persuasion. As one of the esteemed Sunin, reaching this point, Orochimaru felt he had already lowered himself enough. However, Kagaya Nikko still did not respond to Orochimaru. Instead, the strikes with Dragon Bone in his hand became faster. On the ground lay the bodies of countless venomous snakes. The stench of snakes mixed with blood. What Orochimaru said indeed made some sense. But even without Third Mizukage, with Soma still in the Hidden Mist Village, compared to Third Mizukage, Kagaya Nikko trusted Soma more. Regardless of who becomes the Mizukage, Soma's position will remain unshaken. This gave Kagaya Nikko a certain amount of confidence. Chapter 136 Kagaya Nikko, this is perfect for Chief Uehara as materials. Shikatsumayaku, Dance of the Larch. Kagaya Nikko bypassed the venomous snake and approached Orochimaru. A blade descended. Orochimaru drew the sword of Kusanagi to block. However, as soon as the two collided, Orochimaru's expression changed suddenly. "This isn't right. The power increase, isn't it supposed to be intermittent?" Orochimaru had just observed the ability of the Dragon Bone. But Kagaya Nikko's use of the Dragon Bone wasn't limited to just one method. The Dragon Bone's ability is to absorb the force from the last collision and then stack it when used again. When facing Kagaya and initially, Nikko had already thought of a second way to use it. That is, to absorb the force of the first collision, but not to release it in the second collision, instead retaining it until the third collision, making the enemy misjudge. Thus, injuring the enemy. Now, Kagaya Nikko was using the third method. That is, colliding with the Dragon Bone himself to store energy. So, there was no need to collide with the enemy. He could directly double his own strength. The unexpected force from Kagaya Nikko caused Orochimaru to lose grip on the sword of Kusanagi, which flew out of his hand. Kagaya Nikko took another step forward. A white bone had already pierced Orochimaru's body. Substitution Jutsu. A puff of white smoke exploded. Orochimaru's figure appeared in another location, the part Kagaya Nikko hit turned into a log. However, Orochimaru was not unscathed. A bloody hole appeared on his body, bleeding profusely. Kagaya Nikko. Orochimaru gave Kagaya Nikko a deep look, turned around, and left without looking back. Kagaya Nikko chased for a couple of steps, realizing he couldn't catch up, and stopped. He returned to the previous location and picked up the sword of Kusanagi that had fallen to the ground. This ninjato, apart from being sharp and hard, doesn't seem to have any other abilities. It's far inferior to Chief Uehara's Zanpakuto. But, perhaps it can be used as raw material for forging a Zanpakuto. After Orochimaru had left, he turned around and glanced back in the direction of Kagaya Nico. Kagaya Nico. As soon as we met, he immediately tried to k*ll me, even after I proposed those terms, he didn't stop. What exactly is his deal? If Kagaya Nico had spoken a few more words, Orochimaru might have been able to judge better. But in this situation, Orochimaru couldn't make a judgment. If Kagaya Nico were still a loyal ninja of the Hidden Mist Village, why not take this opportunity to try to gather some information about Konoha from him? But if Kagaya Nico were a genuine rogue ninja, why be so ruthless towards him? Why would a rogue ninja from the Hidden Mist Village have such great hatred towards him? Does he have a reason to k*ll me at all costs? Orochimaru couldn't understand. This guy is simply a madman. Orochimaru frowned. It seems that if I want to obtain information about the Zanpakuto from Kagaya Nico, I'll have to defeat him and use the Yamanaka clan's ninja techniques to extract the information. But Kagaya Nico's strength is formidable. Dragon Bone, combined with the Shikatsumayaku Kekii Genkai. Whether in defense or offense, Kagaya Nico has almost no weaknesses. A highly versatile taijutsu ninja. Capturing him is very difficult. It's like dealing with an irritable hedgehog. In a real fight to the end, even without Manda, I might still be Kagaya Nico's match. But it will certainly come at a great cost. Orochimaru squinted his eyes. I need more manpower. Orochimaru didn't want to wait until next time. As a seasoned ninja, Orochimaru understood well that delay could lead to changes. If too much time passed, things could shift. For instance, Kagaya Nico might gain more allies. Alternatively, he might completely disappear, making him impossible to locate. These were all concerns Orochimaru needed to address. Therefore, he wanted to defeat Kagaya Nico as soon as possible. Orochimaru arrived at a small shop. Orochimaru Sama. As Orochimaru walked in, the shopkeeper immediately greeted him. On the surface, he was the proprietor of a small shop, but in reality, he was a ninja from Konoha. How many nearby ninjas can be summoned in half a day? Half a day? The middle-aged man pondered for a moment and said, Orochimaru-sama, in half a day, I'm afraid we can only gather 4 or 5 people. Orochimaru frowned. What about a full day? We can gather a dozen or so people in a day. Then make it a day. Go now and have them come as soon as possible. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. The middle-aged man left immediately. Meanwhile, Orochimaru went to a dark corner to treat his injuries. As a scientist, Orochimaru also dabbled in medical ninjutsu. While not as proficient as Tsunade, it was akin to Soma applying body modification techniques to healing. What Orochimaru didn't know was that not long after he escaped from Kagaya Nico, a figure arrived swiftly before Kagaya Nico. Clad in black attire and wearing a mask. Kagaya Nico, I come under Genji-sama's orders. Elder Genji. Yes. What does Elder Genji want? Kagaya Nico's eyes flickered. The ANBU ninja said, Genji-sama has ordered that you approach Konoha ninjas opportunistically, gather Konoha intelligence, and seek out Konoha's hidden top-level ninja. Konoha's hidden top-level ninja. Kagaya Nico furrowed his brow. Besides Sarutobi Hiruzen, Minato Namikaze, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru, who else qualifies as Konoha's top-level ninja? The ANBU ninja shook his head. Exactly because we don't know, that's why Genji-sama requires you to investigate. Genji-sama says that the disappearance of the third Mizukage-sama is related to Konoha ninjas and was caused by Konoha ninjas. The current intelligence we have gathered is that one person possesses both wood release and Sharingan, another person has chakra absorption and ninjutsu absorption techniques, a third person excels in using explosive tags, and the fourth person uses gravity and repulsion as their primary means of attack. The strength of these 4 individuals is extremely formidable, surpassing that of elite Jonin. Kagaya Nico was stunned. The information spoken by the ANBU ninja was too much, too significant. It overwhelmed Kagaya Nico for a moment. The ANBU ninja continued, Genji-sama says this concerns the survival of the Hidden Mist Village. Konoha has hidden too much strength, there must be a major conspiracy. We must obtain relevant intelligence from Konoha. Otherwise, the Hidden Mist Village will face a great crisis. As for the Kagaya clan, Genji-sama tells Kagaya Nico not to worry. As long as he is here, there will be no problem. Kagaya Nico fell silent for a moment. He looked up. So, Mizukichi-sama's disappearance is actually linked to this. If that's the case, then I might have just missed an opportunity not long ago. The ANBU ninja paused, then asked instinctively, what opportunity? Not long ago, one of Konoha's 3 Sunin, Orochimaru, came looking for me, but I ignored him and drove him away. ANBU ninja. Alright, I understand. Reply to Elder Genji that I will do my utmost to obtain it. Okay. By the way, take this back and give it to Chief Uehara. With that, Kagaya Nico handed over the sword of Kusanagi. The ANBU ninja took it. Then, with a flash, he departed. Once outside the range of the land of hot water, the ANBU ninja removed the mask revealing a delicate face of a female ninja. Approximately 15 or 16 years old with long tangerine-colored hair. Kagaya Nico's strength has already grown to the point where he can even drive off Orochimaru. This is different from what Genji-sensei told me. Terumi may look towards the direction of the land of water. Could it be because of the ninjato? Zanpakuto. He's really something. Chief Uehara's age should be similar to mine. To be able to create so many powerful ninjato, it's truly incredible. How did he manage to do it? Terumi May had immense confidence in herself. From birth, she possessed 2 great Kekkei Genkai, lava release and boil release. Not only within the Hidden Mist village, but throughout the entire ninja world, this was exceptionally rare. Moreover, Terumi May received elite education from a young age. Her situation was different from other young ninjas in the Hidden Mist village. If Hoshigaki Kisame was a genius who stood out among ordinary young ninjas, then Terumi May started out already standing in the position of a genius. Terumi May acknowledged Hoshigaki Kisame's talent and strength. But she didn't think Kisame could surpass her. She saw herself as number 1. In terms of the entire history of the Hidden Mist village, Terumi May was confident that as long as she continued to grow, she would undoubtedly become one of the strongest ninjas in the history of the Hidden Mist village. Among peers, Terumi May looked down on everyone. However, Uehara Soma's appearance made Terumi May lose this confidence. A blade like Kirei Kimonji enabled Hoshigaki Kisame to surpass Hitaki Kakashi. The blue rose sword gave Biwachizo the strength to rival Pakura. The water dragon possession even severed half of Manda's tail. And then there's Kagaya Nico's dragon bone. Genji didn't tell Terumi May about the skeleton emperor in the 3rd Mizukichi's hands. Otherwise, Terumi May would have been even more shocked. A ninja tool that can host the souls of the dead and still unleash incredibly powerful forces. Is this even considered a ninja tool anymore? Terumi May developed a strong interest in Uehara Soma. I wonder what kind of person Chief Uehara is. Then, Terumi May thought again about the situations in the Hidden Mist village and Konoha. Konoha. They're hiding so deeply. I have to admit, given the current situation, the Hidden Mist village is no match for Konoha. My Kekkei Genkai is destined to grow strong in the future. But it's still not enough. If I could obtain a Zanpakuto, what heights could my strength reach? After a day of preparation, Orochimaru gathered over a dozen Konoha ninjas. They weren't elite, but they possessed enough SK*LL to handle missions in a complex ninja territory like the Land of Hot Water. Orochimaru didn't have high expectations of them. If they could just contain Kagaya Nico, it would suffice. Let's go. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. However, when Orochimaru found Kagaya Nico again, he ended up speechless. Orochimaru, your strength has barely earned my acknowledgement. Now, you have the qualification to speak with me. Whatever you wanted to say earlier, I didn't hear clearly. Say it again. Orochimaru. Orochimaru, expecting a fierce battle, didn't anticipate the situation changing so quickly. Kagaya Nico surprisingly showed no intention of attacking him. To Orochimaru's surprise, Kagaya Nico seemed willing to engage in conversation now. However, Kagaya Nico's attitude irritated Orochimaru greatly. So aloof. Too arrogant. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes and cursed inwardly. If you want to fight, you fight. If you don't want to fight, you don't. Who do you think you are? On what grounds? I am one of the 3 Sunin. And you are just a renegade from Kirigakure. What makes think you can adopt such a high and mighty stance? However, since dialogue was possible, Orochimaru ignored these thoughts since he couldn't afford to miss this opportunity. If a battle were to break out, Orochimaru didn't have 100% certainty of defeating Kagaya Nico. There was a chance Kagaya Nico could escape, and even if Orochimaru and his team managed to K'LL him, there was a risk of damaging his brain during the fight, which would prevent the Yamanaka clan from extracting information from Kagaya Nico's mind. Orochimaru prefers to pursue 100% certainty and dislikes taking too many risks. Kagaya Nico, let's cooperate. Kagaya Nico raised an eyebrow, surprised that Orochimaru was willing to negotiate. This raised Kagaya Nico's estimation of Orochimaru's regard for him. And what reasons do you have? Regarding your identity, there are only two possibilities. 1. You are indeed a renegade from the almost extinct Kagaya clan. 2. You are not the real culprit and have only been burdened with this responsibility. In the former case, you should cooperate with me. Faced with enemies like Hidden Mist Village, only Konoha can protect you. And in the latter case, you should cooperate with me even more. A village that burdens you with such great responsibility and yet takes no responsibility for you has effectively betrayed you. You don't owe loyalty to a village that has betrayed you. Cooperate with me, and I can allow you to join Konoha. I can give you the chance to live a normal ninja life. Kagaya Nico chuckled disdainfully. Sounds somewhat reasonable, but that's not enough. The conditions you're offering can also be provided by Hidden Cloud Village and Hidden Rock Village. Moreover, these two ninja villages are stronger than your Konoha. Orochimaru furrowed his brow. Kagaya Nico's statement wasn't entirely accurate. During this period, Konoha still possessed considerable strength. Konoha maintained superiority in the number of top-level ninjas. It was only in terms of mid-level ninjas that Konoha struggled slightly to keep up as the war progressed. Hence, many believed that Konoha's overall strength had declined significantly. Orochimaru found this statement grating. But suddenly, Kagaya Nico changed the subject. However, Konoha does indeed have something I want. Chapter 137, Excellent Forging Technique, Exclusive Blueprint Reward. I won't join your Konoha. You don't trust me, and I don't trust you either. But I think we can make a deal. I want revenge on the Hyuga clan. As Kagaya Nico's voice fell, the matter concerning the Kagaya clan, even up to now, brought no regrets for Kagaya Nico. Because at that time, Kagaya Nico believed that the choices made were already the best possible ones. Even if given another chance, nothing could be changed. The main reason things turned out this way, in Kagaya Nico's view, was primarily due to the Kagaya clan itself. However, there was resentment in Kagaya Nico's heart towards the Hyuga clan. If at that time, more time had been given to me, perhaps there would have been a chance to adjust the relationship between the Kagaya clan and the village. But the Hyuga clan's request was like a spark. Losing the Byakugan was simply a matter of being outmatched. Why can others' possessions be seized, but not those of the Hyuga clan? Using the many years of friendship between the Hyuga clan and the Kagaya clan as leverage, they placed the Kagaya clan in a disadvantageous position. The Hyuga clan have committed a great sin. Now, so many people from the Kagaya clan have died. Hidden Mist Village has also suffered greatly. But the Hyuga clan, they haven't paid any price. Living their lives well. Kagaya Nico feels that this is unfair. And as Kagaya Nico said, he cannot trust Konoha. Konoha certainly cannot trust him either. So joining Konoha is clearly impossible. Kagaya Nico believes that if he agrees, Konoha's suspicion of him will only increase. On the other hand, proposing a trade might make it easier to gain some trust. There's a better chance to obtain some intelligence from Konoha. And to complete the tasks arranged by Genji. Orochimaru's pupils contracted. Revenge on the Hyuga clan. Yes. And the reason? You don't need to know that, Orochimaru. You just need to answer whether you agree or not. Right now, you are the one in need of me, not the other way around. Orochimaru fell silent for a moment. You want to know how to exact revenge. The lives of Hyuga clan members, and the reputation of the Hyuga clan, are both acceptable. Kagaya Nico shrugged. As long as you can K'LL members of the Hyuga clan and tarnish their reputation, then I can make a trade with you. I'll tell you the information you want to know. Any information about Hidden Mist Village. Whatever I know, if the value is equivalent. Including information about the Great Blacksmith. Including. Kagaya Nico answered without hesitation. However, Kagaya Niko naturally wouldn't give Orochimaru information about Soma. Unless it was information that was no longer a secret in Hidden Mist Village, and Orochimaru could easily obtain it through other channels. Orochimaru glanced back at the Konoha ninja behind him and said, "Our Konoha ninjas do not betray their comrades." Orochimaru didn't mind betraying the Hyuga clan, but besides Orochimaru, there were other Konoha ninjas present at the scene. Even if Orochimaru could claim afterwards that he wouldn't truly betray the Hyuga clan, just deceiving Kagaya Niko, once the seed of suspicion was planted, it would be almost impossible to mend. Therefore, Orochimaru couldn't agree to Kagaya Niko's deal. In that case, there's no way. This condition is the only thing that attracts me to your Konoha. If the deal can't be reached, are you preparing to attack? If so, then I'll strike first. Before Kagaya Niko finished speaking, he had already charged towards the Konoha ninja. Kagaya Niko understood Orochimaru's strength very well. He was formidable, and his regenerative ability was extremely strong. Kagaya Niko could clearly see that the injuries he had inflicted on Orochimaru earlier were almost completely healed by now. In this situation, it would be a better choice to attack the other Konoha ninja first. In an instant, Kagaya Niko's figure appeared in front of one of the Konoha ninja. What? These Konoha ninja was recruited by Orochimaru temporarily. While their personal strength was not weak, it was completely insufficient in front of Kagaya Niko. Orochimaru's original purpose with them was just to distract. Crack! The dragon bone cleaved down. Instantly, the neck bone of the Konoha ninja was directly severed. Thud! The Konoha ninja's eyes widened as they fell. So strong! Before other Konoha ninjas could react, Kagaya Niko's figure appeared in front of another Konoha ninja. The second Konoha ninja fell. At this moment, the remaining Konoha ninjas finally reacted. So this is Kagaya Niko's strength. Indeed, very strong. No wonder he's the culprit who wiped out the Kagaya clan. What abilities does Dragon Bone possess? A major battle was about to erupt. Soon, Orochimaru also joined in the siege against Kagaya Niko. In terms of numbers, Kagaya Niko was at a significant disadvantage. However, Kagaya Niko believed that if he really fought to the death, Orochimaru and the other Konoha ninjas would not have an easy time. Moreover, if I want to escape, they can't stop me. Kagaya Niko had confidence in his abilities in this regard. As a taijutsu ninja, Kagaya Niko excels in endurance battles. His physical strength and stamina are unmatched compared to other types of ninjas. In addition, the Shikatsumayaku Kekii Genkai is versatile in offense and defense. Even in blind escapes, the bone armor created by Shikatsumayaku is sufficient for defense. Kagaya Niko's sudden assault among the Konoha ninjas immediately created a breakthrough. However, when Kagaya Niko rushed out of this breakthrough, he found it much easier than expected, effortlessly breaking through. Glancing back, Kagaya Niko saw the Konoha ninjas trailing farther and farther behind. Kagaya Niko had confidence in breaking through. But it was too easy, which made Kagaya Niko suspicious. Something's not right. However, no matter how suspicious Kagaya Niko felt, he couldn't turn back. After a long time, Kagaya Niko stopped. A figure appeared not far ahead of Kagaya Niko. A snake raised its head and spoke. Kagaya Niko. Kagaya Niko raised an eyebrow. Now Kagaya Niko understood why it had been so easy to break through just now. It turns out Orochimaru had let him off the hook. This amused Kagaya Niko. As a ninja of Konoha, in order to obtain intelligence from the Hidden Mist Village, they could even betray their own village's ninjas? Orochimaru. Yes, it's me. I agree to your terms. Let's cooperate. I can provide you with intelligence on the Hyuga clan. In exchange, I need information on Zanpakuto, Shinigami Squad and that blacksmith. Agreed. After confirming the cooperation with Kagaya Niko, Orochimaru returned to Konoha. It was only then that Orochimaru heard those rumors. The third Mizukage has disappeared. Did I do it? Why don't I know? Orochimaru found it absurd. They were so convinced as if they had seen him do it with their own eyes. If he had done it, Orochimaru would surely admit it. For the Konoha ninja, this is a great achievement. But the problem is, Orochimaru knows very well that he didn't do it himself. Should I admit to it? Admitting it would bring a lot of achievements and fame. A person, infiltrating the Hidden Mist Village alone and causing the disappearance of the third Mizukage, would instantly erase Orochimaru's previous defeat by Fugyuki. Most people have short memories. Whatever criticisms there were against Orochimaru before, after he admits to this, there will be many praises. But at the same time, there are high risks involved. Once the secret is exposed, it will directly ruin his reputation. Perhaps I can get some information about the disappearance of the third Mizu cage from Kagaya Nikko. If I can pin the blame on the culprit, then this would be more helpful to me than obtaining information about Zanpakuto, Shinigami Squad, and that blacksmith. Soma, who is currently developing the sage's polishing technique, noticed that the reputation column's number suddenly changed twice. It increased by more than 100 points once. Another time, it increased by more than 200 points. Together with other scattered increases, Soma's reputation has now exceeded 400 points. In that case, just a small-scale recruitment event for blacksmiths would push it above 1,000 points. To reach 2,000 points would be more challenging. Recruiting too many blacksmiths at once isn't good for the forging department. I won't maximize the benefits of reputation in the blacksmith area. Soma made a decision. He entered the polishing room. Soma arrived at a specially crafted polishing table. A stream of water flowed in guided by Soma. Beside it was a massive stone. A stone that had endured the flow of water for a long time, extraordinarily resilient. Above it, a sharpening stone was placed. Here, influenced by the garden box, natural energy was rich. Approaching it, Soma closed his eyes, silently feeling. After a long while, he opened his eyes, then ninjato was taken out by Soma. Sage's polishing technique. Begin. Soma picked up the ninjato and placed it above the sharpening stone. Then, he activated natural energy, causing it to condense on the sharpening stone, flowing slowly like water. Soma tilted the ninjato to the side and gently pushed it forward. Pushed to a certain distance. Retracted. Pushed forward again. In this way, repeating the process. The feeling this time is better than the previous times. I've found the right direction. Just like this. Soma accelerated his movements. The correct method reduces the consumption of natural energy. It's like reducing losses and optimizing efficiency. And I can use less effort. The sound of polishing echoed in the polishing room. Before long. Done. Soma picked up the ninjato. After inspecting the ninjato, Soma smiled. Not bad. Better than any of my previous polishing attempts. Not only did it achieve excellent levels of smoothness and sharpness, but also infused it with the characteristics of natural energy. It's more like enchantment than just polishing. Suddenly, Soma frowned. I didn't handle this corner well, it's a mistake. Even though it's just a small spot, it affects the overall feel of the ninjato. Instead of achieving a score of 90, this mistake dropped it to 70. This ninjato isn't completed. Soma walked over to the next room. Since the appearance of the garden, Uehara Soma had been renovating his forge. He had abandoned the forge on the ground floor. Instead, he designated the area where the garden box was located as the polishing room. Next to the polishing room, he had excavated a cave. Inside the cave, magma flowed, and in terms of temperature, it was higher than the magma brought into the ground forge. Therefore, smelting here also increases efficiency somewhat. It does add some difficulty for the blacksmith. But with Soma's current abilities, it's manageable. Soma calls this cave the forge room. In reality, smelting, forging, shaping, tempering, and annealing are all done here. Besides magma, there's also a water flow. On the other side of the forge room, there's another cave. This cave mainly serves as a warehouse. A staircase connects this place directly to Soma's previous forge room. Soma tossed the ninjato into a corner. Then he picked up another ninjato from a shelf on the side. This time, no mistakes. Soma began polishing again. Sage's polishing technique. Natural energy gathered. The rhythmic sound of polishing filled the air. Soma focused intensely on his hands and the ninjato he held, eyes unwavering. Done. Just as Soma lifted the ninjato, a voice sounded in Uehara Soma's mind. Congratulations to the host for reaching an excellent level in forging technique. You have earned a reward, 1 chance for the Blacksmith exclusive blueprint lottery. Would you like to proceed with the lottery? Soma was momentarily stunned. Blacksmith exclusive blueprint. Lottery. Once he snapped out of it, Uehara Soma's eyes immediately lit up. Does this mean that by participating in the lottery, I can draw tools that are useful for blacksmiths? Such as smelting furnaces, forging hammers, polishing stones, and so on. This is really great. Soma had more than once felt that the forging tools in his hands were not good enough. These forging tools had already held him back many times. Soma had long wanted better forging tools. The problem was, to forge good forging tools, one must have good enough materials. Soma was reluctant to use the materials obtained from the dungeon instance to forge forging tools. And the materials provided by Hidden Mist Village were not good enough either. Unless I can obtain the 7 ninja swords and smelt them down. However, the Hojiki clan will definitely not agree to this. Now, Soma has finally obtained the opportunity to change his forging tools. Soma did not hesitate. Lottery. Chapter 138, Exclusive Ninja Tool for Blacksmiths, Zudamon's Hammer. Lottery in progress. Lottery successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Zudamon's Hammer blueprint. A wave of information surged into Soma's mind. The real name of Zudamon's Hammer is Thor's Hammer. It originates from the Digimon world. It is forged from Krondigizoid metal. It is used by Zudamon. It's a hammer that leans towards combat. Could it be that Zudamon is also a hidden blacksmith? I wonder what effects Zudamon's hammer would have when used for forging. Soma recalled that Zudamon could apparently wield flames and lightning with the hammer in hand, which was similar to the advanced direction of his current research in chakra smelting technique. Apart from this, Soma had another concern. Zudamon was enormous in size. Therefore, the hammer he used must also be exceptionally large. In this case, Soma found it challenging to use Zudamon's hammer as a forging tool. If the size issue can't be resolved, then using Zudamon's hammer would be like Tsunade using Bunta's short sword to attack Manda in the original plot. Bunta's short sword is referred to as a short sword. But that's relative to Bunta's size. Tsunade's physique is not small among women. She is renowned for her full figure. However, her entire body is not as large as that short sword. Using it is quite a stretch. Soma looked at the blueprint. 6 blank hexagrams. Soma. This means that the difficulty of this dungeon instance is very high. Besides Soma, it requires a full team of 6 members. Kisame, Jozo Senpai, Ao Senpai, Data, 3rd Mizukage, these are the ones I've already contracted, totaling 5, 1 more needed. Thankfully, I still have a few thug recruitment tokens. But Kisame and Jozo Senpai are both on the front line. It's not possible to bring them back for the time being. The front line needs them. Kisame is somewhat less needed. There shouldn't be major issues pulling him back from the front line with Fugeki and Rega there. But if Jozo retreats, there will be no one to restrain Pakura. A Pakura without any restraints would be terrifying, something the Hidden Mist Village is well aware of. Her K**ling power is too strong. A pure water release nemesis. It's not just combat, it's slaughter. In that case, I'm still lacking at least 2 people. Soma searched in his mind for suitable candidates. But for the time being, he didn't find any. Name, Soma. Comprehensive Strength, Special Jonin. Swordsmanship, Proficient, 9300. Body Modification Technique, Familiar, 2000. Sage's Plant Cultivation Technique, Beginner, 1000. Abilities, Underwater Breathing. Forging Technique, Excellent, Master, Forging Island Bonus, God's Hand Bonus. Mission Items, Thug Recruitment Token X3. Blacksmith Reputation, 423. Evaluation, an outstanding blacksmith, having his own forging site, equipment and benefiting from forging technique bonuses, has a high chance of crafting superior grade ninja tools. As a ninja, possesses a certain level of strength, stronger than cannon fodder. Forging technique at the excellent level, enhanced by Forging Island and God's Hand, has reached the master level. So now, I can truly be considered a bona fide master forger. Walking out of the forging room. Soma, someone's here. Who? Elder Genji, and 1 more person, I don't know. Ao Senpai, please take me there. Alright. Ao nodded and led the way ahead towards the reception room on Forging Island. It's called a reception room, but in reality, it's a separate building. Ao stepped forward, knocked on the door first, then pushed it open. Inside, 2 figures stood up. Soma walked in. Genji-san. Chief Uehara. Genji gestured towards a figure beside him and introduced, "This is Terumi Mei, my disciple." Terumi Mei assessed Soma and slightly bowed her head. I've met Chief Uehara. Soma also examined Terumi Mei. He was not unfamiliar with her. In the original storyline, she could be considered one of the great heroes who saved the Hidden Mist Village in the future. Possessing exceptionally high talent. Rare dual Kekkei Genkai. Apart from her Kekkei Genkai, her innate water release talent is also extremely strong. It could be said that she is truly destined for greatness. Her potential is incredibly high. Her abilities are complex. She has a strong overall strength. Currently, among the young talents of the Hidden Mist Village, Kisame stands out. If we were to compare the talents of anyone else among the younger generation of the Hidden Mist Village to Kisame's, it would only be Terumi Mei. Her appearance differed from how Soma remembered her. She had an ordinary stature, radiating the aura of youthfulness typical of a young girl. It exuded a different temper from what Soma remembered. I'm afraid even Terumi Mei herself doesn't know the extent of her future potential at this moment. Soma's gaze swept past Terumi Mei's neckline. Chief Uehara. Genji spoke, I've already informed Kagaya Nico, and he has received the orders by now. Additionally, Kagaya Nico has provided the village with a ninjato. He said it's for Chief Uehara as forging materials. With that, Genji gestured for Terumi Mei to take it out. Terumi Mei unbuckled the sword from her waist, placed it on the table, and nudged it towards where Soma was. Soma glanced at it. It was a ninjato that appeared unremarkable on the surface. Soma picked it up and inspected it. Soon, he could feel the sharpness and resilience of this ninjato. Chakras surged into it. No changes occurred. Is it just about its sharpness and resilience? Soma looked at Terumi Mei. Miss Terumi, did Nico-senpai mention the origin of this ninjato? No, Terumi Mei shook her head. But Nico-senpai did tell me that shortly before I met him, he had just fought Orochimaru. Orochimaru. Soma instantly understood what ninjato he held in his hands. The sword of Kusanagi. Extremely sharp and resilient. Moreover, Orochimaru's sword of Kusanagi had another effect: it could lengthen or shorten. But just now when I used chakra, this sword of Kusanagi didn't change in length. Is it that this sword of Kusanagi lacks that ability, or did I use the wrong method? This batch of materials came just in time. My forging technique has just been upgraded to an excellent level. Under the enhancement of numerous conditions, I've reached the level of a master. The ninja tools I forge now are definitely beyond those I made before. Previously, Soma formally crafted only one ninja tool. It was the axe used by Genin Daiga. Apart from its toughness and weight, it had no other special features. However, considering Genin Daiga's situation, it could produce quite good effects. Soma stowed away the sword of Kusanagi. Chief Uehara, let's talk in private. Genji glanced at Terumi Mei. Terumi, wait here for me. Yes, sensei. Soma naturally knew that Genji wanted to talk to the third Mizukage. However, Soma didn't expect that Terumi Mei was Genji's disciple, and Genji hadn't informed her that the soul of the former Mizukage was still alive. The two arrived at the vacant forging room where the skeleton emperor was stored. Mizukage-sama. The apparition of the third Mizukage appeared. Genji, Soma. Mizukage-sama. Genji said, I've already passed on the orders regarding Kagaya Nico. However, before the orders were sent, Kagaya Nico had already encountered Konoha's Orochimaru. They engaged in a major battle. If we want Kagaya Nico to obtain intelligence from Konoha, the chances of success are not very high. The third Mizukage fell silent for a moment. If that's the case, we'll have to wait for Konoha's ninja to use Genjutsu to control Yagura. Genji, are there any special movements from Konoha now? Genji shook his head. Back to Mizukage-sama, Konoha has intensified its attacks. Fugyuki has sent several letters, and the pressure is high. The third Mizukage's face darkened. Has Konoha already gathered enough strength for their plans? Or are they trying to test whether we know their secrets in this way? Even if there's a grand conspiracy, how come it just so happens to be directed towards our Hidden Mist Village? Hidden Cloud Village, Hidden Rock Village, haven't they also been at war with Konoha? This feeling of being treated differently especially irked the third Mizukage. After hesitating for a moment, the third Mizukage continued, Genji, let the Hojiki clan contribute. If we've entrusted all 7 ninja swords to them, they should act accordingly. It's not just for them to take without doing anything. If the Hojiki clan still refuses to step forward at this time, how are they any different from the previous Kagaya clan? Genji nodded. Understood, Mizuki-sama. I will exert pressure on Yagura to involve the Hojiki clan. After this discussion, Genji left. However, Soma did not immediately leave along with him. Mizuki-sama, do you think Elder Genji and his disciple are trustworthy? Soma, why do you suddenly ask this? I've received a materials mission with considerable difficulty, requiring 6 team members. Given the current village situation, Jozo-senpai cannot return, so I need some new members. Genji and Terumi Mei. The third Mizukage clearly acknowledged Terumi Mei's presence. Genji's trustworthiness isn't in question, but considering his current condition, he may not be suitable for missions. His strength has declined too much to provide much assistance. As for Terumi Mei, she's a genius with decent strength. You can involve her. If needed, consider Kagaya Mizuyu. This person stood with the village under difficult circumstances similar to the Kagaya clans, so he should be trustworthy, like Kagaya Nico. Soma nodded. Understood, Mizuki-sama. After leaving the vacant forging room, Soma sought out Genji and Terumi Mei. Genji-san, there's a special mission that might require Miss Terumi Mei's participation. A special mission? Genji instinctively looked towards the direction of the vacant forging room, assuming that this mission was proposed by the third Mizukage. Without hesitation, he responded, Terumi, you stay here. I'll head back first. Genji didn't inquire about the details. Since Soma hadn't mentioned them, he believed there must be a reason why the third Mizukage hadn't allowed Soma to speak. Yes, sensei, Terumi Mei acknowledged. Soma escorted Terumi Mei into the meeting room. Shortly after, Ao entered. Terumi Mei was curious. Bang! The door closed. Soma spoke, Miss Terumi Mei, this mission is related to acquiring ninjato materials. Therefore, everything regarding this mission needs to remain confidential. Can you handle that? Terumi Mei's eyes lit up. Ninjato materials? I'm okay with it. I can definitely accept the mission's constraints. Just like with Genji-sensei, I won't disclose any details of the mission. I am a qualified ninja, and this is the duty of a ninja. Soma nodded. However, for him, this was just a casual inquiry. Personal assurances meant little to him, and he didn't know Terumi Mei well enough to trust her personally. The real constraint lay in the thug recruitment token. If that's the case, let's sign this contract. Soma took out the thug recruitment token. This is a summoning contract. Once signed, you can be summoned to the mission area. Ao-senpai has also signed. Terumi Mei instinctively looked towards Ao. He nodded. Terumi Mei took the thug recruitment token but didn't agree immediately. Instead, she observed it for a while. She tested it with chakra. After confirming that there were no issues, she agreed. The thug recruitment token changed color. Soma saw that the number of thug recruitment tokens on the translucent panel in front of him had decreased by 1. Chief Uehara, when will this mission begin? If all goes well, today, Soma replied. This mission requires a total of 6 participants, myself, Ao-senpai, Squad Captain Data, you, and 2 others. In reality, 7 people were participating in the mission. However, Third Mizukage's situation was unique. Soma had no intention of revealing Third Mizukage's true situation to Terumi Mei at this moment, so he deliberately understated the number of participants by 1. Who are the other 2? You'll find out soon enough, Soma didn't reveal directly. After checking the time, he continued, it might take a while. Terumi Mei, if you're available, let's visit the training ground together. We can get to know each other's abilities better. This way, we can cooperate better when the mission starts. Terumi Mei nodded. Okay. The 3 of them then proceeded to the training ground. At this moment, only Uehara was training at the training ground. Upon hearing footsteps, Uehara stopped and turned around. Uehara-senpai, Ao-senpai, she greeted. Who is this sister? Terumi Mei introduced herself. Terumi Mei. Hello, Terumi Mei. I'm Uehara Ringo. Ringo? Meihoko-san is your grandmother. Yes, she is. I see. Uehara, nice to meet you, Terumi Mei extended her hand. Chapter 139, Traitor of the Hojiki Clan. Kagaya Mizuai looked at Kagaya Izumi in front of him. Izumi, why are you back? Shouldn't you be on Forging Island at this time? Big brother Mizuai, the chief asked me to come back. Kagaya Mizuai is already the clan head of the Kagaya clan. However, Kagaya Izumi has been familiar with and had a good relationship with Kagaya Mizuai before, so she still calls him big brother. Chief Uehara. Yes. Kagaya Izumi nodded and said, the minister has something to discuss with you. Are you available to come with me to Forging Island now? It's quite urgent. Now. Kagaya Mizuai was taken aback. Even without Izumi mentioning it, Mizuai had been preparing to go to Forging Island. With the third Mizu cage missing and Yagura taking over, Kagaya Mizuai hoped to establish a good relationship with Soma. However, Mizuai hadn't finished preparing the gift. Yes, now, Kagaya Izumi confirmed. After hesitating for a moment, Kagaya Mizuai agreed, alright, I'll go with you now. He decided not to bring the half-prepared gift. Giving an incomplete gift was better than not giving any gift at all. The two of them left Kagaya Island and headed towards Forging Island. On the other side, a figure walked with a dejected posture, fists clenched tightly. It was Hoseki Izumo returning from the front-line battlefield. Originally, relying on thunder swords, Hoseki Izumo had performed reasonably well in battle, even though he had been defeated by Danzo. But then again, Danzo was one of Konoha's senior elders, SK*LLED in wind-style ninjutsu that countered lightning release. So, it was quite normal for Hoseki Izumo to have been defeated under those circumstances. Hoseki Izumo knew that others compared him to Kurosuke Reiga, who wielded the lightning blade. They all thought Kurosuke Reiga was stronger than him. The lightning blade was stronger than thunder swords. After that incident, Hoseki Izumo fought even harder, defeating more Konoha ninjas to gain achievements, showcasing his strength and the power of thunder swords. Hoseki Izumo had already put in a lot of effort. He believed that within the entire Hoseki clan, no one worked harder than he did. Any other person couldn't do better than himself. However, the Hoseki clan was still dissatisfied with Hoseki Izumo. They forcibly ordered him back to the village. With one order not enough, and even after refusing 2 orders, Hoseki Kazuhiko issued a final ultimatum: return to the village or be expelled from the Hoseki clan. Faced with this threat, Hoseki Izumo had no choice but to return to the village. Upon returning to the Hoseki clan, thunder swords in hand, Hoseki Izumo was immediately stripped of them. Hoseki Izumo, with your abilities and talent, you cannot fully wield thunder swords. Thunder swords no longer belong to you. Hoseki Izumo could feel that after Hoseki Kazuhiko's words, the gazes upon him had completely changed, mocking, scornful, devoid of any goodwill. Hoseki Izumo, making you surrender thunder swords was the right decision. You've brought shame upon thunder swords in our Hoseki clan. Your family trusted you with thunder swords, yet you were completely overshadowed by Kurosuke Reiga. You've brought shame upon the family. You are truly useless. Hoseki Izumo clenched his fists. Veins bulged on his arms. At that moment, Hoseki Izumo's mindset changed. Towards the Hoseki clan, he felt only estrangement and disgust. Countless voices echoed in Hoseki Izumo's mind. What meaning does such a family have? Why should I remain loyal to such a family? I worked so hard, fought so fiercely, only to receive this outcome. It's so unfair. Just then, Hoseki Izumo suddenly remembered something. That is, when he was about to leave the front-line battlefield and return to the Hidden Mist village, he encountered Hoseki Mangetsu, another member of the Hoseki 7, holding Hiramekirei. However, unlike with Hoseki Izumo, the Hoseki clan did not retrieve Hiramekirei from Hoseki Mangetsu's hands. One is Hoseki Mangetsu, a rare genius in the Hoseki clan for many years. The other is that Hoseki Mangetsu also does not have 2 obvious comparisons. Unlike Hoseki Izumo, who completely became a stepping stone for Kurosuke Reiga to regain fame. On the side of Hidden Mist Village, there are no ninjas who can be compared with Hoseki Mangetsu. Hoshigaki Kisame and Zabuza are much older than Hoseki Mangetsu. And on the side of Konoha, Hoseki Mangetsu's comparable figure is only one, Uchiha Shisui. At a young age, he has already gained the title of Body Flicker Shisui. However, when facing Uchiha Shisui, Hoseki Mangetsu did not fall into a significant disadvantage. His water release techniques were extremely smooth. Coupled with the abilities of Hiramekirei, even Uchiha Shisui dared not directly confront Hoseki Mangetsu's attacks. Gradually, Hoseki Mangetsu also gained the reputation of a genius on the battlefield. Some call him the Senkond Gengetsu. Some people referred to Hojiki Mangetsu in this way. And the first to say such a thing was probably someone from the Hojiki clan themselves. The purpose is self-evident. However, Hojiki Mangetsu's ability to gain recognition for this title is enough to prove his talent and performance. Hojiki Mangetsu understood the intention behind Hojiki clan's decision to send Hojiki Izumo back. Without saying much, he only said one thing. If there are any issues, you can go to Forging Island. Chief Uehara is a good person. Hojiki Izumo recalled this statement. At that time, Hojiki Izumo was puzzled, not knowing when Hojiki Mangetsu had developed a connection with Forging Island. But after losing Thunder Swords, faced with those strange gazes within the family, Hojiki Izumo realized something. Biwajozo lost Sever Sword and gained Blue Rose Sword. Fugyuki Sukazan lost Same Hata and gained Water Dragon Possession. Kurosuke Reiga lost Thunder Swords and gained Lightning Blade. These three have all found a new path. Hoshigaki Kisame, who obtained Kirai Kimonji, also became the top talent among the younger generation of Hidden Mist Village. Actually, I have to admit that Zanpakuto are indeed stronger than the 7 ninja swords. The craftsmanship of that blacksmith surpasses that of the great blacksmith from years ago. Hojiki Izumo walked out of the conference building, paused at the door, and looked back. Kurosuke Reiga, who was robbed of Thunder Swords by you, not only did not weaken after losing Thunder Swords, but also became stronger. So, do you feel embarrassed? Is all the blame going to fall on me? If I were to lose Thunder Swords and obtain a Zanpakuto on Forging Island, not only would I not weaken, but I would become stronger. What kind of expression would you have then? Hojiki Izumo harbored thoughts of revenge. Since you despise me, ignore my achievements and efforts. Clearly I did nothing wrong, yet you treat me like a criminal. These people of the clan, I want nothing to do with them. From now on, I am no longer Hojiki Izumo. I am just Izumo. Disappointed to the extreme with Hojiki clan, Izumo left Hojiki Island and headed for Forging Island. When the escort team brought Izumo to Forging Island, Soma was somewhat surprised. A member of Hojiki clan has come to Forging Island. For the people of Hidden Mist Village, the discord between the Forging Department and Hojiki clan was already a well-known fact. The comparison between Zanpakuto and the Hojiki 7 ninja swords. The comparison between the Shinigami squad and the Hojiki 7. The former 7 ninja of the mist who lost their 7 ninja swords turned to the Forging Department, obtained Zanpakuto and became the Shinigami squad. Those dissatisfied with Hojiki clan became supporters of Zanpakuto, mocking and belittling Hojiki clan. In this situation, members of Hojiki clan started criticizing Zanpakuto and the Shinigami squad. After a series of actions, the relationship between the two camps has become extremely hostile. Compared to when Hojiki Mangetsu visited, the atmosphere now was much worse. After Hojiki Izumo explained his situation, Soma seemed relieved. But why should the Forging Department accept you? I have left Hojiki clan. I know a lot about Hojiki clan's situations. I can tell you everything I know, Chief Uehara. I can do that right now. But I want a chance to possess a Zanpakuto. Soma glanced at Hojiki Izumo. Anything? Yes. Including Hojiki clan's current plans and your secret jutsu. Hojiki Izumo hesitated for a moment but nodded. Yes. If he was going to betray, he would do it thoroughly. From the moment he walked out of Hojiki Island, Izumo had already made up his mind. All right, I can give you a chance. Thank you, Chief Uehara. Watching Izumo's departing figure, Soma furrowed his brows. Soma, why are you accepting someone like this? A traitor. Even the family's secrets, secret jutsu, he's willing to hand them over. How can we trust someone like this? Today he betrays the Hojiki clan, tomorrow he could betray the Forging Department. Ao's disgust towards Hojiki Izumo was undisguised. Even though Ao knew there were reasons behind Hojiki Izumo's actions. In his eyes, a traitor was still a traitor. Ao-senpai, do you think, given Hojiki Izumo's situation, if we didn't accept him into our Forging Department, would he go and join another ninja village? Ao paused for a moment. So Soma, are you concerned that Hojiki Izumo will join another ninja village and that's why you took him in? Considering it, it is really the benefit of the village. Soma nodded. Part of this is the reason, and the other part is that Hojiki clan is indeed a bit overdone. Regardless of whether it's towards our Forging Department or towards Hojiki Izumo. I haven't intended to confront them, and I find it rather pointless to spend time and energy on this. But they have become somewhat aggressive. Especially after Lord Third encountered such an incident. Some are even rallying around Lord Third's disappearance. Ao fell silent for a moment. The Hojiki clan has indeed gone too far. Previously isolated in a corner with little interaction with the village, they are exceedingly selfish once they act. And the incident involving Lord Third is no different. Soma, if Lord Third knew what you're doing, he would surely appreciate your actions. Soma shook his head. Lord Third doesn't need to know. I'm just doing what I should do. In saying this, Soma wasn't just standing up for Third Mizukage, he was also shaping his own image as someone who values loyalty and tradition. This way, it can enhance the loyalty of those around him towards himself. Besides these, Soma is also interested in Hojiki clan's water release techniques. Based on the hydrification jutsu, a series of water release techniques have been derived. Soma has wanted to learn these for a long time. However, the Hojiki clan has guarded their water release secret jutsu closely. Now, finally, he has the opportunity. Data appeared in front of Hojiki Izumo. Izumo, Chief Uehara wants you to come with me. Okay, right away. Hojiki Izumo immediately put down what he was holding and followed Data out. At a quick pace, they headed towards Forging Island. Chief, Hojiki Izumo has arrived. Chief Uehara. Hojiki Izumo hurriedly greeted him. Soma nodded slightly. Izumo. Terumi Mei sized up Hojiki Izumo. Terumi Mei also understood the conflict between the forging department and Hojiki clan. Unexpectedly, a member of the Hojiki clan can be seen here. Soma originally intended to have Hoshigaki Kisame return to the village, but after seeing Hojiki Izumo's situation, he suddenly felt that Izumo was actually a very suitable candidate. Once mastered, Hojiki clan's secret jutsu is extremely powerful. Therefore, Soma decided to let Hojiki Izumo take the place originally planned for Hoshigaki Kisame. This arrangement would also be better for the front lines of the Mist Village and the Land of Fire. Chief Uehara, is there something you need? The current situation made Hojiki Izumo somewhat unclear about what was happening. Let's talk later, one more person is yet to arrive. After a few more minutes, two figures appeared in the distance, entering everyone's sight. Chief Uehara. Soma glanced at Kagaya Izumi. Izumi, take Amaerai to train on the other side. Yes, Minister. Kagaya Izumi left with Amaerai Ringo. Soma looked around and said, the reason I gathered everyone this time is for a mission that requires 6 people. Before that, I need everyone to introduce their abilities. This way, we can cooperate better during the mission. The target is very strong. Let me briefly introduce myself first. I specialize in water release and can use 2 fire release techniques. My overall strength is around the special Jonin level. After Soma finished speaking, Ao spoke up, I mainly use water release and taijutsu, specialize in sensing ninjutsu, possess the Byakugan. You can rely on me for intelligence gathering. Overall, I'm at the Jonin level. Next was Data. I mainly use water release and ninjato. Overall, I'm at the Jonin level. Then, Soma's gaze turned to Kagaya Mizuai. Chapter 140, Kagaya Nico joins the Akatsuki organization. I specialize in taijutsu, water release, and I'm at the Jonin level. After Kagaya Mizuai finished speaking, Soma's gaze then fell on Hojiki Izumo. Hojiki Izumo said, I specialize in lightning release and water release, and my overall strength is at the Jonin level. I have a good command of water release, and I possess boil release and lava release. If we consider my overall strength, I believe I have reached the level of elite Jonin, Terumi Mei remarked. Soma glanced at Terumi Mei. At 16 years old, an elite Jonin. Given Terumi Mei's situation, this assessment seemed reasonable. After all, Terumi Mei had exceptional talent. In the original plot, after Naruto developed the wind release Rasen Shuriken, his attack capability placed him among the top within the cage. At 16 years old, for a ninja, it could already be considered a threshold. Before that, in Hidden Mist Village, Terumi Mei didn't have much presence. Everyone knew Terumi Mei was a genius. However, in terms of fame, Terumi Mei was not as well known as Hoshigaki Kisame. This is the result of taking different routes. Hoshigaki Kisame emerged as a ninja from the Bloody Mist competition. He actively went to the battlefield, enhancing his strength and reputation through one battle after another. In contrast, Terumi Mei remained relatively obscure. I don't know what Genji's considerations were, but his arrangement surely has its reasons. Now that everyone is here and we have a rough understanding of each other's abilities, let's not delay any further. We'll depart now and quickly complete the mission, Soma said, taking out 2 thug recruitment tokens and handing them to Hojiki Izumo and Kagaya Mizuai. They accepted them. Enter dungeon instance. In the next moment, Soma's figure disappeared. A beach appeared in Soma's view. No one was around. The sand was yellow. The sea water was excessively dark, not quite blue but almost black. Soma clearly felt a strange atmosphere around him. It's like hiding some evil power. Summon thugs. In the next moment, Terumi Mei, Data, Kagaya Mizuai, Ao, Hojiki Izumo all appeared next to Soma, alongside the Skeleton Emperor. However, except for Soma and Ao, no one else noticed the third Mizu cage. When the illusion of the third Mizu cage did not appear, its aura was completely concealed within the Skeleton Emperor. After such a long period of recuperation, the spiritual energy of the third Mizu cage had recovered significantly. Not to mention being able to use the attacks he used on Pain that day. At least, it won't be much worse. Is this where the mission is going to take place? Do we need to be summoned to get there? It's really special. Forging Master Spiritual Land. Terumi Mei and the other 3 were curious. Ao and Data weren't here for the first time. What is the specific mission? The cooperative relationship between Kagaya Nico and Orochimaru is quite fragile. Both are uncertain whether the intelligence they receive from each other is genuine. No, they are even certain that most of the intelligence exchanged between them is likely false. However, false intelligence can still reveal some issues. Furthermore, their cooperative dealings are just the beginning. Both have more plans. Kagaya Nico looked towards the direction of the Land of Fire. Konoha hides its strength and has a grand conspiracy, which makes the village wary of Konoha and eager to obtain relevant intelligence. But at the same time, Konoha is also wary of Hidden Mist Village. Because of Chief Uehara's creation, the Zanpakuto. Kagaya Nico glanced down at the dragon bone in his hand. The ability of dragon bone is simple, but it greatly enhances my overall strength. The sudden doubling of power is something that hardly any ninja can withstand. Compared to the Hidden Mist 7 ninja swords, it is indeed far superior. I wonder how many Zanpakuto Chief Uehara has forged now. I wonder how those remaining from the Kagaya clan are faring now. Mizuai-senpai, Izumi, Satoru. Suddenly, an unusual aura appeared. Kagaya Nico quickly regained his composure and stared intensely at the figure that had suddenly appeared. Red clouds in a black robe. Wearing a yellow mask resembling a vortex. Kagaya Nico squinted. He sensed a clear sense of danger emanating from this figure. Kagaya Nico. Uchiha Obito scrutinized Kagaya Nico. To gain power, you turned against your own clan members, stole Zanpakuto and Dragon Bone. That's the accusation from Hidden Mist Village. Regardless of the truth, now you've become a rogue ninja, without a village, family, friends, or a place to call home. In the eyes of others, you carry a reputation of extreme villainy. Do you think such a ninja village, such a ninja world, is normal? Are you willing to join me? I can give you a chance to change the world. Uchiha Obito reached out with a gesture of invitation. Join us. Together with us, change this ninja world, eliminate all wars. Everyone can live the life they dream of. Kagaya Nico frowned. Who are you? Uchiha Obito raised his chin. I am Uchiha Madara. Kagaya Nico's pupils suddenly contracted. The name Uchiha Madara was not unfamiliar to Kagaya Nico. Even though Uchiha Madara was a ninja from Konoha, his name was well known throughout the ninja world. His immense strength, his many deeds. It could be said that Uchiha Madara was a monumental figure in the history of the ninja world, a figure that could not be overlooked. Impossible. Kagaya Nico was only surprised for a moment. The next moment, disbelief set in. Uchiha Madara was K*LLED by Senju Hashirama. Besides, even if he wasn't K*LLED, given his age, he wouldn't be alive now. He would have died long ago. Uchiha Madara belonged to the era of the first Hokage. As for the cage of the ninja world, not to mention the first, even the seconds have all passed away. This includes Konoha, Hidden Mist Village, Hidden Sand Village, and Hidden Cloud Village. Even the third cages are getting old and quite elderly. Several have already passed away. The death of the third Raikage has been confirmed. The third Mizukage and third Kazekage are missing. Uchiha Obito chuckled. Just because you haven't seen something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Kagaya Niko, there are many things in this world that surpass your understanding. These eyes do not lie. In the next moment, Uchiha Obito met Kagaya Niko's gaze. Mangekyo Sharingan. A complex pattern appeared over Uchiha Obito's eyes. Sharingan. A Sharingan without Tomo. Kagaya Niko couldn't be sure if this person was Uchiha Madara. However, the Sharingan without Tomo, different from the regular Sharingan, made Kagaya Niko realize that this was certainly not a simple existence. Kagaya Niko fell silent for a moment. What do you want to do? He asked. Uchiha Obito's tone became more impassioned. I want to change this dirty, corrupt, decaying ninja world, he declared. With unprecedented power, unstoppable power, to change everything. Whether you seek power or something else, I can fulfill your desires. Kagaya Niko remained silent for a moment. Changing the world is not something I'm interested in, he replied. But I do crave power. If you can give me that power, then I'll join you, why not? Uchiha Obito smiled. A wise choice. Join us, and you won't regret it. You will gain power that you could never have imagined before. But before you officially join, you must pass a test from me. What test? Infiltrate the Hidden Mist Village and steal a Zanpakuto. Uchiha Obito needed intelligence from the Hidden Mist Village. However, he did not directly mention such conditions. That would make him appear not strong enough. Just a bit of intelligence, and they need a new recruit to get it. The prestige of the name Uchiha Madara would plummet instantly. Therefore, what Uchiha Obito said was to test Kagaya Niko. He wanted Kagaya Niko to infiltrate the Hidden Mist Village and steal a Zanpakuto. After Kagaya Niko stole it, he could also inquire about the situation in the Hidden Mist Village. Only in this way can you prove that you have the ability to join the organization. Kagaya Niko's eyes flickered. Alright, but when I return after stealing the Zanpakuto, what can you offer me? Secret jutsu, ninjutsu. Anything you desire, we have it all. Good. Kagaya Niko agreed to Uchiha Obito's invitation. Even though Uchiha Obito's claim to be Uchiha Madara was dubious. But earlier, Kagaya Niko had already agreed to cooperate with Orochimaru. Now another person claiming to be Uchiha Madara has emerged possessing a Sharingan. In this situation, Kagaya Niko felt that since he had already entered into a cooperative transaction with Orochimaru, collaborating with this Uchiha Madara was not out of the question. As long as he could clearly remember his true stance. My stance will always be with the Hidden Mist Village, that won't change. In this sense, I'm actually like a spy for multiple parties. On the Konoha side. And now, this organization supposedly created by Uchiha Madara. Leaving the scope of the Hidden Mist Village, I'm seeing more things. It's very different from the ninja world I knew before. That person claiming to be Uchiha Madara is very strange, but what he said wasn't wrong. There are indeed many existences in this world that surpass my understanding. And not just me, most people in the Hidden Mist Village surely don't know. Let me be the second pair of eyes for the Hidden Mist Village. In that case, even if Yagura succeeds, not acknowledging the original Kagaya clan, at least he would see my contributions to the village, and thus wouldn't be so opposed to the Kagaya clan.
Thanks for listening.